it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London so. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I think of her.
Hip hip, Joolz Guides here. Now, one of the best things about London is that a lot of the galleries and museums are free. But if you want to see some of the popular places like Tower of London and Tower Bridge, then you can end up spending quite a lot of money. So our friends at the London Pass have sent us 2 days worth of free entry. So we're going to see how many attractions we can see in 48 hours. The London Pass will get you into over 70 London attractions free of charge, and it will even give you some discounts on travel and also discounts in some of the gift shops. Now, it varies depending on your age, but to get a general idea, a one-day adult pass is about £62, and for 2 days, an adult pass is £85. So you're definitely going to save money and time. So the first attraction on our list is Westminster Abbey, which is the biggest church in England. This was built in 1050 by Edward the Confessor. A minster means a big, important church. So this is Westminster Abbey because it's west of the main city of London. Excuse me one moment. Let's head in. Carry on, mate.
Cheers, Julian. Say a prayer for me, won't you?
This is excellent. They've got the tombs of Edward the Confessor, Queen Elizabeth I. It's amazing. John Dryden, Chaucer, Charles Dickens as well. So many famous people. This is the coronation chair where every monarch has been crowned since 1066. So many people in there who had their heads chopped off by other people who are also buried inside there. It's amazing, all these poets and famous people. I mean, that really is a very good place to visit.
Gonna hang out washing on the Siegfried line.
This wicked man, the repository and embodiment of many forms.
This is basically where Churchill and his cabinet conducted the war from. These rooms were in use non-stop for the whole of the war, so the lights stayed on down here for like 6 years. Churchill's cabinet met here 115 times between 1939 and 1945. I just love seeing all the films and the whole footage of like the times and all these funny uniforms and everything. They're excellent. There's even a pair of what look like Churchill's pyjamas in here. Just so that you know, that queue there constitutes about half an hour's waiting. That's useful to know.
Oh, what a beauty. I've never seen one as big as that before. Hey, oh.
Tavern, built in something like 1070 by William the Bastard. That was his name, I didn't make it up. His parents weren't married and he was called William the Bastard or William the Conqueror. Now you see that fellow over there, he's called a yeoman warder, but some people call him beef eaters. I think it's from the French, they used to call us les roast beef. Something to do with us eating roast beef or something like that. Anyway, it's their job to look after prisoners in the tower and also to make sure the ravens don't fly away or something like that. If the ravens fly away, apparently the tower falls.
Will this tower ever fall?
Kill everyone inside! Down!
It's also their job to look after the crown jewels, which includes the largest clean-cut diamond in the world and a stone worn by King Henry V at the Battle of Agincourt.
What a beauty. It must be 2 foot long or even more. It's such a lovely colour, so nice and round and fat.
They were small in those days. I think just over there is where Anne Boleyn was executed. Chop.
Never thought a marrow could grow as big as that. Oh, what a beauty. I've never seen one as big as that.
So you see those 2 walkways at the top, those here used to be open to the public, but they had to close them in 1911 because too many pickpockets and prostitutes were walking along there and frequenting the area. I'm not quite sure why anyone would go all the way up there just to cross the bridge. I suppose there's a nice view, but yeah, it's much easier just to walk across the bottom bit. It was opened in 1894, but in the 1950s there was this incident where a packed double-decker bus was halfway across when the bridge opened up, and he actually had to jump the gap. He was regarded as quite a hero, actually. As you can imagine, it's one of London's most popular bridges. But with the London Pass, you can fast-track straight to the front of the queue. Out of my way.
So we're gonna do here, we're gonna do Tower of London, and then we're gonna hop on the bus and check out all of the hot spots.
110 feet above street level.
I'm scared. Are you not scared?
I'm scared. I'm not
Are you not
gonna
going
do
on?
it. No, my granddaughter did, but not me.
I can't believe I've never done this. I've never been up here before. I've lived here all my life.
Let's all go down the Strand. Have a banana. Let's all go down the Strand.
Excellent. Now, it's another place that I've never been in. I mean, I did a film about this. This is the Banqueting House, which is the only part of the old Palace of Whitehall which is still standing, because the Palace of Whitehall burnt down in 1698 or something. Did you know that? No. No, that's where King Charles had his head chopped off.
Oh.
King Charles I.
You're kidding?
No, they weren't either. He stepped out of a first floor window there.
Okay.
Onto a scaffold. Look, you can see his head. You look over there, actually, at the clock up there. At 2 o'clock, there's his black mark. And some people say that that's because it's to commemorate the time of day when King Charles had his head chopped off. He was supposed to have it chopped off in the morning, but there was some sort of delay. It was cold. He wanted a new shirt. Admittedly, there's not a great deal to see inside, except for an amazing ceiling painted by Rubens. But you might as well pop in. It was actually commissioned by King Charles I to celebrate the wisdom of Stuart kings. Getting your head chopped off doesn't seem very wise to me. Come on, Simon. Chop, chop.
I'll be leader, you can march behind. Come with me and...
Now, this will only actually get you into the Queen's Gallery, which is around the side, which is kind of like an art gallery. And it's the perfect place if you like Canaletto, because I noticed there's a lot of Canaletto in there. Now, you see on top of the palace, there's the Union flag flying. That means that the Queen is not at home, because if she was at home, it would have the Royal Standard flying. But one day she was at home in 1982 when a fellow by the name of Michael Fagan broke in, and she called security, but she had to sit there for about half an hour whilst the police arrived. So sat there sitting on the bed having a chat with him. But there are other ways to get into royal palaces, so I'm off to Kensington Palace where Prince William lives. Hopefully he won't call the police on me, although I wouldn't be at all surprised.
The place of fun and noise, all amongst the girls and boys, and let's all go down.
Kensington Palace first became a royal palace when King William III moved here in the 17th century, and he actually died after breaking his collarbone falling off a horse. He didn't die of the collarbone fracture, he died of a chill. Someone left the window open whilst he was recovering. Very careless, if you ask me. Then the mad King George III decided to move to Buckingham House, which then later became Buckingham Palace. So he's obviously pretty mad, because I'd much rather live in Kensington Palace. Much far more beautiful surroundings.
And it was in these very rooms that Queen Victoria discovered she was to be queen, aged just 18.
Now this is more like it. This feels like a proper palace now. Wonderful. This is where King George II used to entertain his guests. The state rooms. I could really imagine giving my masked ball in here, I think. In fact, I believe this statue of Queen Victoria just outside was actually carved by her daughter, Princess Louise. Pretty good, actually.
A lovely bunch of coconuts.
You can also take a canal boat cruise, and it's rather wonderful because it goes past London Zoo, which you can also get into.
Big one, small one, some as big as your head. You give him a twist, a flick of the wrist, that's what the showman said. Oh!
Now, this is the reptile house where Harry Potter talks to the snake in the film The Philosopher's Stone. Daddy's taking us to the zoo tomorrow. I must say, even though quite often I can't seem to see some of the animals because they're always hiding, it's still a really pleasant experience coming around in London Zoo. Nice and serene and relaxing, except for that police siren. During the war, the poor old camel house got bombed by the Luftwaffe, but no animals were injured. It did give us the hump though. So next, I'm off to see a World War II battleship.
My old man said follow the van and don't dilly-dally on the way.
Oh yes, HMS Belfast. This was built in Belfast, which is, I think, where they also built the Titanic. This saw active service. I mean, in the Second World War, this was at D-Day, the D-Day landings in Normandy. So these guns behind me, actually, they're 6-inch guns, and I think they could deliver shells, which are, what, about as much of a sort of typical bag of coal or something. Massive. And they are aimed at Scratchwood Service Station on the M1. Some people say that they should shoot them. Yeah, it saw its fair share of action. It was actually out of service for a couple of years in the war when it hit a German mine. But then old Blighty went over to the cupboard and took out the naughty stick and gave Fritz a damn good thrashing, so don't worry about that.
Oh, when the pub with me own packed in it, I will be...
So our next stop is St Paul's Cathedral, and it's quite exciting because I've lived in London all my life, and yet I've never been up to the top of St Paul's Cathedral because it costs so much. The Romans built a temple there originally in honour of Diana, which is appropriate really because Princess Diana and Prince Charles got married here in 1981. I remember it. I'll see you when I get out, Simon, right?
I'll tell you what, I'll feed the birds.
Yeah.
Me and my girl, meant for each other, sent for
excellent. Over here's Lord Nelson's tomb. After he died at the Battle of Trafalgar, they had to preserve his body, so they pickled him in rum or brandy or something. When they were bringing him back, some of the sailors were sipping some of the brandy that he was pickled in on the way back. And that's where we get the expression tapping the admiral.
Some little church with a big steeple, just a few people that both of us know, and we'll have love.
I am boiling. It's a long way up. This isn't a good place for someone who's scared of heights. Important thing to remember is if you want to go to the top, try to arrive by 3 o'clock because it gets really busy and you might not get let in. I am more tired than a one-legged man in an arse-kicking contest. That was so... Don't ask me how many steps that was. I'm exhausted. Did you enjoy it, Simon?
Oh yeah, I loved it, yeah.
Sorry. And did I mention that you can also use it for a free guided tour of London on Golden Tour buses?
I think you better get it.
Gonna get lit up when the lights go up in London. I'm gonna get lit up as I've never been before.
Of course, you don't really need to listen. You can listen to the guided tour on the bus here, but if you've got Joolz guides, you don't need to, of course, because it's all on my website.
So, the palace?
Yeah, the palace.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I might go
We
there
are
next.
trying to make it all together in one day.
It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long.
And this is the monument which commemorates the Fire of London. It's exactly the same height as it is the distance from the base to the baker's shop in Pudding Lane, where the Great Fire of London started in 1666. Here we go again.
You don't look very tired.
Not at all. I think he said that it was 311 steps, then another 311 steps.
Quite tiring, isn't it?
Oh really? I'm not even sure if you're halfway yet.
Oh, I prefer the view from here than from St Paul's. You can actually see stuff.
When it was first built, this column was the highest viewpoint in London. So just after the Great Fire of 1666. They had to install this thing, the cage, because too many people kept committing suicide. See, I reckon there's room for an elevator down the middle there.
Here's your certificate, sir.
Oh goodness, a certificate.
Congratulations of
What's
your
it?
311 stairs.
Oh, thank you very much. It made the decade worthwhile. Now look at that. Got a beautiful certificate for having climbed the monument. It's rather splendid. Now, say for example you're going to the London Bridge experience using your London pass. As soon as they scan you in, it should trigger something on my app on my phone. Yeah, there we go. The London Bridge experience. So immediately triggers it. It gives you all sorts of information which I'm sure will fill you with joy. My favourite thing about it is that you can use it for a boat tour with city cruises.
Roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun.
Now London is huge and a lot of the attractions are pretty far apart, like Greenwich and Hampton Court Palace, so I didn't manage to make it to all of those in my 48 hours. But I would say, to make it worthwhile, make sure you plan your itinerary really well. Or as my friend Ted says, you don't plan to fail, you fail to plan.
Ring out a song of good cheer. Now's the time to roll.
I'm exhausted. If you enjoy my videos, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're interested in buying a London pass, I definitely recommend it if you're seeing a lot of attractions in London. There are links in the text description below. And if you want a private, jolly old guided tour with moi, then just contact me on my website, joolzguides.com. Did you enjoy that, Simon?
Yeah, I love waiting outside all these lovely attractions for you to...
Oh, sorry, Simon. Come on, I'll buy you a pint. Come on. Tally ho.